Newsmax host and former Trump official Sebastian Gorka gets in a heated debate with one of the panelists on their Newsmax show. So the panelist that he actually got into this whole bout with named Jason Nichols, somebody who clearly isn't as conservative as they probably should be especially for a show that's called The Right Squad, right? But they get into this big argument dealing with immigration is kind of how it starts. And then Jason Nichols makes a crazy comment about Trump. Check the clip out here.
Copy his policies because American people know they work, but to say,
be honest about it.
But be honest about it. I think he wins on that.
Yeah,
on that issue.
Jason, we talked about Kamala earlier. She is the border czarina. How would you rate her performance as border czarina?
So she wasn't border czar. She was talking about immigration, and she went into the.
She was the point person.
Of root causes of migration, particularly from the Northern Triangle and Central America. So she wasn't border czar. I don't agree with that characterization.
Whatever you want to call it, how do you rate her
this.
performance? How do you rate her performance?
Let me just talk a little bit about Ron DeSantis. Mm-hmm. There's very little that I agree with Donald Trump on, but I'll say this. There are times where Donald Trump has called people disloyal, and I really didn't like it. Mm-hmm. When he called American Jews disloyal, I thought it was anti-Semitic, and I didn't like it.
Stop it!
But
I'm not going to let you get away with it.
He had a point.
President Trump.
With Ron DeSantis, he had a point.
Stop, Jason.
Whoa!
You don't get to say that.
No, you don't.
A man whose grandchildren are Jewish, you don't get to say that on this show.
I just did.
No, it's a lie.
I just did.
Don't do that. His children are Jewish. His daughter converted.
Okay, I didn't say.
He didn't say anything about unloyal Jewish people. You're not going to say that.
Okay.
No.
Look it up.
Stick on the topic.
Look it up.
Look it up. Stick on the topic.
Look it up.
What are we going to say on DeSantis?
No, I'm just saying he's right about DeSantis not being loyal. DeSantis was somebody who he backed to get to the position that he's in Florida, and then he comes out and is attacking Donald Trump. And so I think Donald Trump is correct in the fact that Ron DeSantis has been disloyal.
Is this a loser for DeSantis, Ashley, to keep doing this, trying to attack the president from the right on abortion, on the border from the right? He's not going to win people over, is he?
I think his strategy is to try and he has to create something else for himself to try and peel apart some of Trump's base, right? And that's the path that he's trying to make. Is that working? I think we're seeing right now the poll number is probably not the most effective method, but over the course of time, one thing I am grateful for is the fact that we do have America First policies on the forefront across the board, with the exception of maybe one or two candidates.
Well, and real quick, so I agree with Ashley, and I think that's exactly right, but there are so many other issues I think that DeSantis could try to separate himself. Border security isn't one of them.
That's not going to be a winner.
It's not going to be a winner.
You were there, you saw it.
Right.
Tom Homan and others witnessed it because you worked to secure the border.
All right, so obviously that's crazy. You have them going at this massive argument. Gorgish has to shut this guy down and just tell him, look, Trump can't be anti-Semitic. I mean, look at his daughter, look at his family, right? And obviously that's common sense. And for us that are aware of what's going on, we fully understand why Trump made those comments, right? I mean, it makes sense why he was talking about this or would even feel that way, because the idea here is that if you are somebody that is religious or Jewish or something like that, you would realize that by voting for Democrats, you're basically voting against yourself. You're voting for things that are against the very things you should probably be believing in, right? And that's the point that he's trying to get at. It's not anti-Semitic to do that. The reason why is because, think of it on the flip side. You often have Democrats that say, well, black people, you're being disloyal and traitors, right, for voting for conservatives. You know, they're voting against your rights, blah, blah, blah. Right, of course, that's a lie. We already know that. But no one calls Democrats racist for saying those comments. So why is it that all of a sudden when we flip this over, when Trump states a fact, is it all of a sudden not in his favor? All of a sudden he's anti-Semitic. I mean, come on. These are the realities that we have to look at here. It's a simple truth. So you have this guy Nichols on the panel disagreeing with him, and of course they press on talking about Kamala Harris. And of course, just listening to the beginning part of the clip, you can tell that he's not all that conservative. I mean, the reality is that he doesn't even really, I don't really agree with the whole Kamala Harris border czar and everything. He probably thinks she's doing a pretty good job as well, right? I mean, remember, Kamala Harris was put in charge of the border, but this guy apparently just wants to pretend as if that's not the case, try to minimize the fact that she just is completely bad at her job. that she disappeared from actually doing her job, and that she is basically not even really doing anything with the border. I mean, the border is and has been the worst it's been in history probably right now, just because of the way that Kamala has handled it, or her lack of actually handling it. And that's very clear to see, and this guy obviously doesn't want to admit the truth. So the real thing here is, and the real topic that kind of sparked all of this off, is dealing with Trump versus DeSantis, right? And you have Trump basically saying, well, you know, it's really DeSantis that's taking my immigration policy, and he's taking this thing and he's running with it. And the reality is that, once again, I don't think it's a good idea. I agree with kind of what they were saying at the end. It's not a very good idea to necessarily follow Trump in the same thing that he's probably best at, right? I mean, we all know that Trump's border policy was extremely strong, extremely effective. To kind of follow that is an automatic failure. I mean, you're not going to really, at least you're not going to best him at it, right? So that's really what's going on with this clip. So let us know your thoughts down in the comments. I mean, is this really an argument that needs to be that needs to be had on the show? Do you think that or do you side with Gorka on this one? Do you side with the Nichols guy? Do you think that he's right? And at the same time, do you think that this whole debating and kind of getting upset on news programs like this, especially when it's fairly off topic in general, is really what the news needs right now? Is that something that we need to be doing at this moment? I mean, Sebastian Gorka put on Twitter and he said, "I will not allow anyone to racially libel President Trump." And he's absolutely right. You know what I mean? We shouldn't allow people to just attack him like that. Further into the article, it goes into this idea that the incident may underscore the larger and contentious dialogue surrounding political loyalty and immigration strategy, right? Especially when we're dealing with Trump and DeSantis. So as things continue to evolve, what we're really looking to see is this show promising to provide a platform to further explore these pressing issues, right? I mean, is it something that we need to be having on the show like this where people are attacking each other, or do we need to have more civil debates? What are your thoughts? And let us know. I mean, put them in the comments. That helps us out, helps you out as well. But it allows for us to be able to see what you think. Are you siding with Gorka? Are you siding with the Nichols guy? Do you think they shouldn't have had this at all? Is this something that should have been left off TV or somewhere else? Let us know. But I thank you for watching this video, and we'll catch you on the next one.